awaiting the results.
It's kind of coming to a head for the teachers, right? Because this is their working conditions.
We'll soon know whether Alberta teachers accept the province's latest offer. COVID vaccine rollout curveball.
That people that want to pay can either go through AHS or can go to the pharmacy.
Catching Albertans and pharmacists off guard.
It's the Canadian National Championships.
Bottoms up to Beer Cup, celebrating the nation's best craft brew.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Camilla Di Giuseppe.
Good afternoon. Voting has just closed for teachers on the latest contract offer from the province. And there's only 1 week left before a province-wide strike. Tyson Fedor joins us live. And Tyson, it's expected teachers voted it down.
Camilla, the former Alberta Teachers Association president and labor relations experts we spoke with believe teachers did not accept what was on the table in front of them in this latest dispute with the province. Now, voting just closed here at 5 o'clock. Results are expected to be known within the next hour or so. This offer would give a 12% salary increase over 4 years. Now, the government would also hire 3,000 more teachers over 3 years. This offer also gives teachers coverage for the COVID vaccine. Now, the union does say that if the deal is voted down, 51,000 teachers would likely hit picket lines next Monday. The province has previously said that more than $400 million in classroom improvements would start this fall.
I think that there have been some long-standing issues around the funding of education that just hasn't been addressed by multiple governments. And so I think it's kind of coming to a head for the teachers, right? Because this is their working conditions. And so the class sizes are too big, the classes are getting more complex without appropriate resources. These are long-term issues, right? That we've known about them and just haven't been dealt with.
Now, the province said in a statement today, out of respect for the bargaining process, it will not comment on the vote, awaiting ratification from teachers today. Now, last week, the province announced and pointed to $8.6 billion in building and renovating 130 schools. Camilla?
Tyson, thank you so much. Alberta pharmacists will be allowed to administer the COVID vaccine this year. One pharmacy says the sudden policy change caught them off guard. Terry Fikowski joins us now from outside the Cambrian Pharmacy with details. Terry, the province did not announce this change. We just learned about it while looking into today's start of free vaccine bookings.
That's right, Camilla. The pharmacist here at Cambrian Pharmacy tells me that he only found out 2 weeks ago that he would be allowed to offer the COVID-19 shots this season. The message from the province has been that Albertans could only get a COVID shot at community health clinics. The exception would be some rural pharmacies where clinics weren't available. But today we found out it's not just Cambrian offering COVID shots. Shoppers Drug Mart is offering them as well. You will have to pay to get vaccinated at a pharmacy. The price appears to range between $135 to $155. Pharmacies also don't have to adhere to the phase 2 rollout, meaning anyone can get their shot starting this week.
Around mid-September, there was also a little bit of a curveball, and then pharmacy got access to private stock also, meaning like we can also, the people that do not qualify for publicly funded can also get it in the pharmacy like they added in the past, obviously, and obviously like at a charge. And then the thing we don't know yet is like if private insurance will cover it.
Today, the province started booking appointments for high-risk Albertans, but those shots will be free of charge, but they are only going to be given out at community health clinics. All other Albertans need to wait until October 20th to get a shot at a health clinic, though it is going to cost $100. Camilla?
Terry, thank you. The search for Darius McDougall is being adjusted because officials say his survivability at this point is just 5%. That news was shared with McDougall's family Sunday. RCMP say they analyzed several factors, including what he was wearing when he disappeared, the terrain, the weather, and the amount of time the search has gone on. Hundreds of people are still looking for the 6-year-old, but search and rescue crews admit the time has come to change some of their search tactics.
So it will change the use of some of the infrared technologies on the assumption that the infrared technologies won't be picking up any heat signatures on the ground. That's the biggest change right now, is changing from using the infrared to solely cameras to search the ground.
Darius was walking with family members Sunday, September 21st, when he became separated from the other children near the Alberta-BC boundary. 2 homes have been destroyed by fire in the northwest community of Citadel. It happened around 1:30 on Saturday morning. When firefighters arrived, the homes were engulfed in flames. 4 people were able to get out and 4 pets were rescued, but 1 kitten remains unaccounted for. Officials say it looks like the fire started around the deck and the flames spread upwards, then to the neighboring home. 2 adults and a child and pet bird are safe after fire early this morning. Calgary Fire responded just before 5 a.m. to a duplex-style home on 28th Avenue Southwest. Crews found a wooden back deck on fire. There's no word yet on a cause, although it is not being investigated as suspicious. A Calgary charity that tries to make sure Halloween is accessible to everyone, no matter their financial situation, is looking for help. Costumes for Kids is asking for donations to make sure every child can take part in Halloween. Organizers hope to collect 400 costumes this year, with hundreds of kids already signed up. They say even gently used costumes can make a big difference for a child.
It's amazing to see the joy on these kids' faces. Last year, they put their costume on right away in the parking lot and were running around as Spider-Man or Princess or whatnot. And I think joy is a basic need for a child.
Costumes can be dropped off at the Jubilee Auditorium, Kismet Clothing, or the West Hillhurst Community Association until October 8th. Let's bring in our Danielle Savoni with our first look at the weather. There's always that indication about the snow and Halloween, how it always happens
just in time.
Just
I know.
And
I know.
The small dusting of snow.
And while I can't give you the Halloween forecast just yet, I mean, I could say something, but it's a little too far away. What I can tell you is that this is a hot day today, and we're not looking at this kind of heat for the rest of this week. So what Cam is alluding to, this cool down, here we go. It starts this week, not to the point of snow, thank goodness, just yet. 26 degrees is the temperature at the airport. It is gusting around 40 kilometers per hour, and we can expect that on and off for the next couple of hours, then quiet overnight. The winds should be quiet tomorrow, but the temperatures will not be as warm. 20 degrees will be our daytime high in comparison to the 26 of today. We are looking at more cloud cover for tomorrow as well, and we have a good chance of rain between noon and 3. That's your 24-hour forecast, brought to you by 5th Avenue Volkswagen, where you can win your ride. See dealer for details or visit 5thavvw.com.
Danielle, thank you. Ahead on CTV News, final stop, Calgary. The Premier and her Alberta Next panel roll into Calgary, where hundreds are expected to attend. And events get underway in Calgary on the eve of the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. Also, if you have a news tip, text us at 10400. Premier Danielle Smith and her Alberta Next panel are set up to wrap up their cross-province tour tonight in Calgary. It'll be the panel's 10th and final in-person town hall focused on Alberta's relationship with the federal government. It's pitching 6 ideas that could eventually become referendum questions, including creating our own police force and pension plan. Though initially billed as consultations, the Premier told the most recent town hall in Grand Prairie that the province would likely take action on some topics without a vote.
We've had people saying that it goes too far, some that are saying that it doesn't go far enough, and there's been a fair bit of acrimony at most of the meetings. And I even think an acknowledgement, at least on the part of some panelists, that some of these policies just aren't flying with Alberta. They might make sense to the government and to some of the panelists, but they aren't really landing.
The province also has a telephone town hall scheduled for Wednesday night. To learn more, visit our website. Tomorrow marks the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, a time to honor all of those impacted by the residential school system. Events begin today at the Confluence Historic Site and Parkland, where more than 20 different Indigenous and ally-led organizations are raising teepee lodges, with some people staying overnight. Events will run there tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., which includes letter writing for reconciliation, plays, and elder storytelling. The Pukaks Reconciliation Society will be hosting a commemorative walk and gathering starting at the Peace Bridge at 11 a.m. The University of Calgary is hosting a flag-lowering ceremony to mark the importance of the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, which gets underway at 8:15 a.m. All right, let's bring in Danielle once again to look at the weather. And I'm so sorry, I did completely just blast over the fact that today really felt like summer.
Oh my goodness, it's toasty. Yeah.
Very much so.
I was outside. I hope you got outside, and if you didn't, it's a nice evening. It is a bit breezy now, so, you know. There you go. We can see the camera bouncing around a little bit, so it's not quite as enjoyable at this moment in comparison to earlier today when it wasn't quite as windy, but we have some cloud cover that's made its way in. So the weather pattern is changing. The clouds are that indication, the wind is that indication, and, well, we can't stay at these temperatures forever, as we know that. Look at this. 30 degrees is what we got to, 31 in Medicine Hat, and right now it's 30 in Lethbridge. So a lot of heat in the southeast, and then 26 for Calgary. So it's been a lot warmer than normal. 15 is what's normal in the city of Calgary for this time of year. So yes, we are above normal. It's been a bit breezy. So far, maximum wind gusts in Calgary has been 52. You can see one just popped up at 30 in Lethbridge, 56 for Medicine Hat, and 48 for Pincher Creek. So it's not excessively windy, but it's certainly, you feel it out there. We have this really push of cloud cover and rainfall, mainly pushing through from the south into BC. The mountains saving us from some of this. There are some pockets that have made their way in earlier today to the far south in particular. We could see a little bit of widespread longer-term rainfall. It looks like there's one pocket that will make its way in tomorrow that will actually spend some time. So Lethbridge will get it, and then it will move its way up to Calgary. I'm going to step out of the way so you can see that. Lethbridge seeing that earlier in the morning up until about noon. And for Calgary, we're looking at seeing that from noon to 3 in the afternoon. And it could be, some of those pockets could be actually quite heavy, and then clearing out later in the day. So by the supper hours, it may still be a little windy, but we should have the clouds starting to make their way out and some sunny breaks by that point. Wednesday, from this, we should get some cloud cover, smaller chance of seeing any sort of isolated showers, just a 30% by Wednesday. All right, so looking at that longer range forecast, 20 degrees for tomorrow and 20 for Wednesday. Again, nothing compared to the 26 of today. Tomorrow, National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, a stat day. We will get some showers, and the most likely chances between noon and 3. And again, in some isolated areas, it could actually be a little heavy. And then later in the day, we should see some sunny breaks, and then sun and cloud, a mix of sun and cloud for Wednesday. Then we start our cool down. So this is opening the gates for a much cooler air mass to move in and more settle in for a little longer here. 18 degrees for Thursday and Friday, 12 for Saturday. More cloud cover expected on Saturday. Just to show you that 10-day trend, to give you the idea of what we're looking at temperature-wise, we can say goodbye to the 20s. So after Tuesday and Wednesday, we will no longer have them for the next 10 days, and it will be tougher for us to get there just because it's this time of year.
Breaking news from the northeast community of Coventry Hills. There's a house fire on Covington Road, and 2 homes have been badly damaged. Firefighters have managed to get the flames under control and are now monitoring for hot spots. Paramedics say there are no serious injuries so far. We have a reporter on the way to the scene, and we'll have the latest details coming up at 6. A new trial has been ordered in the 2019 killing of an Uber driver. Karsif Harani's body was found on a rural road near Springbank Airport in December 2019. He was driving for Uber that night. Court heard a robbery escalated to the 30-year-old's murder. 3 people were charged. 1 woman was sentenced to 6 years for manslaughter. Robert Degnaud appealed his manslaughter conviction and won. The Alberta Appeals Court ruled the trial judge made errors, citing problematic evidence. The new trial date has not yet been announced. Canada has has now declared the Bishnoi gang a terrorist entity. The gang has been connected to arson, extortion, and murder across Canada, including in Edmonton. India denies claims it's using the gang to terrorize Canadians, calling for the creation of a separate Sikh state. Being listed as a terrorist entity means authorities can seize property and freeze accounts and prevent Canadians from assisting or financing the group. Well, it's being billed as the world's first, located in Alberta. Next, how this direct-from-air carbon capture facility is bringing international tech together. Algoma Steel secures millions of dollars to help fight the trade war. With more is Leanna Washniak, investment advisor with the Popowich-Carmeli Advisory Group. Hi, Leanna. Ottawa and the Ontario government have okayed a $500 million loan.
That's right, and there's a couple of reasons for both governments going ahead with this. $400 million of that will come, of course, from the federal government, $100 million from the Ontario government, but both of these are going to Algoma Steel because they're pretty much the last independent steel producer that we have in Canada, and 60% of their business is done with the U.S. They're also the only maker of military-grade steel plate that we have in this country, so it is in the government's interest to keep this company running. Despite the impacts of the tariffs, Algoma Steel says they will be using a lot of that loan to help convert their existing production into more efficient, both cost-efficient and environmentally friendly ways of producing their steel.
And there's a fascinating tech partnership between Shopify and OpenAI using ChatGPT.
Yeah, and this really has the potential of changing the shopping landscape entirely. Now, instead of just searching and having product results pop up in ChatGPT, this partnership between Shopify and OpenAI means that you can very soon buy products through ChatGPT using the Shopify platform. Now, this is going to start with a limited rollout in the U.S. before it picks up steam with both U.S. Etsy consumers and U.S. Etsy sellers. That's really the first pairing that they're going to start with. But beyond that, they're expecting to roll this out. So now you can actually shop through OpenAI, which actually has major ramifications for companies like Google and Amazon, where you won't actually have to go through those platforms to buy things anymore, and potentially opens up OpenAI for advertising, so you can maybe have your products better ranked in their search results.
So much going on. It's super fascinating. Leanna, thank you so much.
Thank you.
A new Alberta facility is being billed as the world's first operational center for assessing direct-from-air carbon capture technologies. Deep Sky has opened a $110 million project in Innisfail that pulls carbon dioxide directly from the atmosphere. Unlike similar operations in Iceland that rely on a single method, this site has 10 different technologies from countries around the world running side by side. It's a way to assess which of the technologies can be scaled up, but at the same time, it's a fully operational carbon capture facility. Deep Sky says it chose the Alberta site in large part because of Alberta's skilled oil and gas workers.
A lot of what we do ultimately does become gas processing. So what that means is the labor force from the energy sector is actually a natural pool for us to attract folks to work at our facility right here.
Carbon captured from Innisfail is trucked north to Sturgeon County, where it is injected more than 2 kilometers underground for permanent storage. Debate over the future of Calgary's supervised consumption site. Here's Ian White with a look ahead to CTV News at 6.
Camilla, safety concerns have plagued the site since it opened at the Sheldon Schumer Center. For years, the province has been threatening to shut it down. Coming up at 6, where the top 5 mayoral candidates stand on the issue. Also ahead, Alberta pharmacies are now allowed to offer the COVID vaccine. We'll explain why their price is higher than $100. Plus, Albertans hoping to get a free shot in BC, maybe out of luck. Join us at 6 for the details. Camilla?
Ian, thank you. Transit riders in Bridgeland will soon have a new place to grab their morning coffee on the go. Calgary Transit is adding a retail storefront right inside Bridgeland LRT station. INS Market is set to open there in mid-October, bringing coffee, snacks, and other essentials for commuters and neighborhood residents. It's part of Calgary Transit's plan to boost revenue while making stations more welcoming. Another station is slated for Westbrook Station later this year, and Transit says it's looking to open even more in the future. More than 30 judges are in Calgary to decide the country's best in craft beer. The judges from Canada and beyond are at Toolshed Brewing for the next few days, where they will do a blind test of hundreds of national brews across more than 50 categories. The Canada Beer Cups competition manager shares what the judges are looking for.
They'll look for, specific criteria, appearance, mouthfeel, aroma. Those need to hit the markers, but for a beer to really shine above the rest, it's got to be outstanding. It's got to make you want more, and just a really clean beer.
The awards gala will take place in November in Quebec City. Lucky judges. Well, in Calgary, we're having a phenomenal day. Feels more like summer, not so much like fall, sitting still at 26 degrees. We've got some clouds out there. What's coming up in the week? Danielle will have details next. Interesting evening. You can enjoy the fall colors slowly coming in, but also have a barbecue.
Yeah. And do that, because then things are cooling. We talked about this happening. We know it's coming. It is officially fall. So this 26, we're going to have to say goodbye to that, because that's not arriving for the next 10 days. And likely after that, even slimmer chance. All right, normal is 15. We're going to be closer to 15 a lot next week and even by the weekend. But we still have the 20s for the next couple of days. Tomorrow, though, this does come with a good amount of cloud cover for much of the day. And between noon and 3 in the afternoon, we have a good chance of showers. Drier on Wednesday and then cooler on Thursday at 18 degrees, but by then a lot brighter. Cam?
All right, Danielle. Calgary is putting on the polka dots. A boom of ladybugs can be found all over the city. Doug and Lana Wong were delighted to find hundreds of the spotted bugs in their yard. Experts say ladybugs tend to congregate in the fall as they look for places to overwinter, making them more noticeable. But this year, there are more of them thanks to the hot, dry weather. That's perfect conditions for more aphids, and that's ladybugs' favorite meal. Experts say, let them have their fun.
When the plants are stressed, they have a lack of water. When they don't have so much water, they're going to reduce their photosynthesis activity. When they do that, stressed plants attracts insects. It's better if you leave them alone, because next year they come stronger and they might kill the pests on your backyard.
An adult ladybug can eat several thousand aphids in its lifetime, and that is good news for gardeners. And remember, there's that superstition that ladybugs are good luck, especially if they land on you, so they're lovely. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.